You said, and I quote, Iran has been a significant threat since my time at the CIA. They are not a country that can be negotiated with. What do you think the average American does not understand about the Iran-Israel war?
Well, let me separate the two first.
Please.
Because sometimes it's hard to compare the two. Iran is an intelligence black hole. Like,
Okay.
I want to start there. And I think I have been banging my head against a wall for like years talking about the threat. Now, obviously, people are listening, which is good. But even when I was at CIA, they were harboring all the members of Al-Qaeda, like at one point. And they were doing it on purpose because we knew that they were there and like wouldn't go there. And so we were having to rely on other intelligence services. I think the biggest misconception and what I've seen recently is thinking that the Ayatollah is going to like negotiate in good faith. I don't know what kind of like crack we're smoking, like to think that that's going to happen.
Right.
Because I think people assume that the Ayatollah is going to act like the Prime Minister of Britain or even well, sometimes Netanyahu just like depends on the day, but like it kind of does with him, but like he is just not going to negotiate. He's
Right.
going to martyr himself before he negotiates. And that is a huge misconception I think people have like of Iran. Also, this is a country that now, since all of this has begun, has totally cut off communications
Right.
for the rest of their people. And
Yeah.
that's how tightly they hold them.
They've shut down the internet.
Completely shut down. The internet, phones, you name it, it's shut down. And if you look at the Arab Spring that happened right back in 2011, it impacted really almost every country in the Middle East. Syria took a little longer, obviously, but except Iran, because that's the stranglehold that they have on their people. And so I think the biggest misconception that like we made is thinking that the Ayatollah would negotiate. And I'm shocked that anyone thought that the Ayatollah would negotiate. That's like mind-blowing to me.
To me, it seems like you're discussing like how shocked you are, almost like the higher levels of government that they assumed he would negotiate. I also feel like just the average individual in America will assume that other people and especially like because the Iranian, that they act like us. Now, I want to differentiate between the regime
100%.
and the people because
we have to.
To your point, you were saying, you've been talking about Iran for years and finally people are listening. I feel like that's what Iranians feel like.
I think Iranians have been talking about Iran for years.
For years and years and years. They've been suffering. They've been tortured. Women have had acid thrown in their face. People are imprisoned. They don't want this regime at all. And they've been talking for years about we've been being killed and murdered and imprisoned and no one is paying attention.
No one.
And but I think going backwards again that the average individual in America is so blessed and has such a wonderful life that they imagine, well, everyone, like there's no way someone would die for their cause. Like no one would martyr themselves or martyr their people in order to achieve this.
Martyrdom here.
Yes.
That's just not something we can understand. And I get it because we, as you mentioned, I think we place so much value on life, which is a good thing.
Yes.
I'm glad we do that.
Yes.
But I think martyrdom is something that's very difficult for any normal person here really to wrap their brain around.
Yeah, not any non-radicalized individual to understand this is not, they don't think like us.
100%.
Yeah.